So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
Welcome.
You a hater.
Sorry.
Don't
If you're
hate.
listening, right
Cold
as I
out here.
started, D put on this hideous orange and gray hoodie with the words Auburn across it. Sorry.
Which
Threw
team
me
is
off there
this?
for
Is
a
this the
second.
SEC champions?
But anyway, as I
SEC
was, but
championship
as I
team.
was saying, we are
Like,
here to
true.
cover Apple TV's Severance. This is episode 4, entitled "The You That You Are." I believe that's the title. If not, we are rolling with it anyway. D, how's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. I'm actually very happy because I once again give a shout out to your SEC outright champions. Oh, my Tiger. Or Eagle.
Are
How
you
are
done? Are
you?
you finished? Are you done? Or are you
Just
finished?
peacocking. That's all.
Okay.
Everybody's easy to peacock. But I'm done for today. For right
You
now.
know, I try to have a civilized conversation with you
No, you don't.
about
No, you
shows
don't.
that we like.
You don't. You bring this on yourself every time because I was ready to talk about Severance, and here you go talking about my sweatshirt. Ain't got nothing to do with Severance. This is all you. You brought this on yourself.
Well, I will apologize to my Audi, but yeah, let's get
You're
into
welcome.
episode 4. General impressions. I'm pretty sure we will have the same thoughts on this, but how did you feel about this episode?
Speaking of apologizing to your Audi, mercy. Um, this episode darn near broke your girl. I almost shed a tear twice, maybe 3 times, 3, 4, a few times. This show has become a tad bit darker than I anticipated, but in a good way. It's not a macabre, this is going to give you dread every week type of dark. It is a, uh, I guess, in a way, thought process kind of dark where it makes you think of things you wouldn't have before, which is good, right? Thought provoking.
Yeah.
How about you? What you think of it?
Um, this show at like at both times, because I'm gonna split this into like two separate thoughts. It's both like a joy to watch. It's pretty thrilling, pretty exhilarating, pretty exciting to watch, but at the same time, because it requires like active like watching, like you're completely engaged while watching it. So when certain moments hit, they really hit. And yeah, there are two moments in particular that really hit for me this episode. um but yeah, this just when I think like, okay, this show has like reached a plateau, like it's like just like this good, like yay good, it like takes it up a different level. Like this, yeah, this episode was really good. And that's all. Yeah, that's all I could say about it for now, because I want to save like those two other moments for like later once we reach them. But yeah, let's get into this episode. To recap a little bit, after the previous episode, the book made its way into Lumen. Um, I had to look up her name. Coble, Harmony Coble, walked away with the candle. Um, those items may reappear, may not, but yeah, let's get into episode 4. So, of course, I think that the character that we will all have questions about going forward is Haley, obviously, because she is hell bent on getting out, and something really interesting happened with her character this episode. And I want to ask you a question, D. Like, can sh this is going to be weird because in theory, her Audi set her. up in Lumen. So, but at the same time, can she trust her outie? Because depending on your answer, this leads to like a host of different questions. So, can she trust her outie?
No, I don't think you can trust anybody that would put you in that situation because they don't care about you, because it is very obvious they don't know what's happening to you or what is going on during that time, and they don't want to know. So you can't trust anybody that would put you in that kind of predicament. So I would say no, even if it's you, right? Like,
Right.
no.
And while I um I agree with that answer, it leads to another thing that I thought about because after the episode I like sent you a message and I was like because I spoke previously on the type of people that would go to Lumen and
Mhm.
how it's maybe some form of like self punishment or maybe not even self inflicted punishment. Like the punishment is like basically, yeah, thrusted onto them. So to me, Lumen is almost like a prison of sorts. Um, and in particular, I think we have more clues about Mark. I think we have more clues about Irv, and I guess I want to like hypothesize about Haley first. I'm gonna jump around a bit. Like when Mark, he he went back to visit the tree, which is we have to assume this is the site where his wife where they had a maybe they had a car accident and his wife died there. Like we never knew how she passed away. We just know that she passed away. So with Mark, like, do you think he maybe because you did ask a very important question last week, like basically, can he ever get over this? And if so, it doesn't matter now because he's stuck here. But I guess the question we have this week is what if he's putting himself there as a punishment? Maybe they were in an argument. Maybe he feel like it's his fault that she's dead. So what if like this is his punishment to himself to put himself in this place?
That would make sense if he knew that there was a punishment, right? So like if there's a part of you that has to deal with whatever it is, that's cool. So again, if you are excuse me, out of whatever of your space, of your consciousness, but you can still recall what happened to you, then yes. But if this is something that is happening and you have no recollection of it, how does that transfer to punishment if you have no idea what's happening? So if you running wanted to punish yourself, say for instance,
Uh,
you what's something you love, anything, something tangible, not a person, something you love that you'd hate to not have. Sweet
See,
potato pie.
to
Okay.
yeah, to me, yeah. All right. So to me, because I know where you're going with this. Let's say I love sweet potato pie like so much, um, that I almost get like gluttonous with it, like a way to remedy that is like to basically remove the memory of like sweet potato pie altogether. Like I love it so much that I just have to keep myself away from it by not even knowing it exists.
Hmm. Which is fine, and I think even that will work. But what if you're trying to punish yourself for being gluttonous? Then instead of you erasing sweet potato pie from your memory, you just decide you can't have it anymore.
Mhm.
So that is a constant reminder of whatever the thing is you did. It's almost like fasting, right? Fasting's not a punishment. It's just supposed to be like if you want something, every time you think of the thing that you're fasting from, you're supposed to go to pray, right? So if you're trying to help yourself or punish yourself, but you don't even remember sweet potato pie, that's not a punishment for you. That's that's awesome, really, because it's like you don't even have to think about it anymore. So you don't have to be. You're not going to be gluttonous because that thing has been removed from your life. But in this case, it's not removed from your whole life. It's just removed from a piece of it for a time. And while you running in your Audi doesn't remember sweet potato pie, Your any has it in their face all day, every day. They just can't eat it. Is that fair punishment? If you don't know what's happening, because it's I see what you're saying, but how is it doesn't seem like it's a an effective punishment because you don't reap the consequence of it. You're not getting a consequence. That's what it is. You're
I
not
mean, I
having a
would,
sacrifice and you're not getting a consequence. So how is it punishment?
and and yeah, you make a valid retort, but my line of thinking also, and I see your notes here, Burden Irving, which by the way, shout out to you for pointing that out. I didn't even notice.
It's gotta
Um,
be.
so let's so let's transition to Irving because I went back to his wellness test, and what were some things that were being told to him during his wellness test?
You're excellent at love and love making. That's the one that I remember the
Hmm.
most. That one in particular. And then, stuff like you are kind, you are didn't she tell him he was good at like building or
Hmm.
preparing things or something like that. So it was almost like to be stereotypical manly stuff
Yeah.
that he was good at. Yeah. All of the
Uh huh.
things that a stereotypical man would be happy about. She gave him all of those. That's what I picked up from it.
Wait, but now let's compare that with like what's happening in Lumen.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
obvi- because all right, because
Okay.
I think we have an important clue with like the purpose of this wellness test now.
Yes.
Because the things that are being told to you is and I gave you the example from Blade Runner 2049. It's almost to basically remind you of who you are in Lumen because you don't know who your Audi is. So they could tell you who your Audi is to basically pull you away from like what would be on your mind, your vices, whatever in Lumen, and kind of like make you like your employee any self again. Because, like you said, all of those things that were brought up about him were like manly, but now he is getting very much attached to our good old friend in the optics and design department, which like at first they were kind of like making a hint, but it's not even a hint anymore. Like it's very much like a flirtatious, like romantic, like relationship that he's forming here. Like they're like openly flirting with each other. They're touching each other's hands. They're going on walks. So
And they're
one is
going
to
on
believe,
dates.
yeah.
Yeah.
So one is to believe that Audi Irving is gay, but for some reason they don't want that in Lumen. The question is, why would it that why would that be an issue for Lumen?
I your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Maybe and this brings up a very good point. It feels almost biblical.
Mhm.
And I say that because he keeps saying the handbook, but it's very reminiscent of the Bible,
The
right?
Bible, yes.
Um it's the whole don't it was something of don't drink like the when they had the fountain.
Hmm.
That was one, and it's kind of like the living water type thing. And then there was the don't read any material of the outside that is not
Like
my
they
word.
actually use yeah they actually used the word idolatry in there, like
Hmm.
basically false idols. Yeah.
And then he said something of, oh, it's gotten lost in translation because the first or the original
Hmm.
recording or the original writings of Keith, and I'm like, okay, gave me very much New King James Version. And it's starting to get to the point where it's like you're right, maybe there's some sort of sin that has been committed outside, and lumen is the penance.
Hmm.
All right, you have to be like this perfect specimen inside of there or you get sent to the break room. And then of course it goes right back to the the apology in the break room that has broken these people down and continues to break them down to their nothing.
Yeah, because I want to go back to that break room scene as well. Like the way that it was framed was like beautiful. Like you see the words, and but you also see almost like the partition between Hilly and Milicic. And to me, that's very much reminiscent of like a confession. Like they're making a confession.
Look at you. And it's like the even with the part where you can only partially see the other person, because in the confessions it's that like gate holy gate
Right, right.
screen. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And also with confessions, don't they give you so many Hail Marys to say as
Uh-huh.
your penance? Oh, it's all coming. Look at you. You
It's
put stuff
coming together.
together. Look
It's
at
coming
you.
together.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where you have to, for repentance to be something that, like, for you to be forgiven, you have to truly be repentant.
You
So
have
it's
to
not like you
truly
can just
believe it.
keep
Yeah.
doing these things and then I'm gonna go repent. Repentance means to change your mind, which means you're truly sorry. And if you're not truly sorry, then that means you can't be forgiven for whatever it is. Look at you. Gosh, that makes sense. That's nice. Bravo. I hadn't considered that. Especially when they all know how many times they had to say it to. You
Hmm.
said, what was it, 1062 or something crazy like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. It was more than 1,000. Yeah. Which
That's a
is.
lot. That's a lot. And she was there all day, according to Irvin.
Hmm.
She's been there all. Can you imagine saying that stuff all for 8 hours or however long their shift is? Like I said, all day. I can't imagine it saying it 1,000 times.
Hmm.
That's excessive, I believe. And do you think she was truly sorry? Well, I think by the end she was. Well, you know what?
Yeah, I think she
No,
was
she
pretty
wasn't.
much like beaten into submission by the, 1,000th time. And
But I don't think she was sorry. I think she was just exhausted. Like like you said,
yeah.
it was submission. It was just like, all right, fine. I get it. I'm never gonna get out of here until I do what y'all say. Cool. But she still
She
wasn't sorry
was
for what she
sorry. Yeah, she
did.
was sorry for something, just not for what she
Just
did.
not that.
Yeah.
But isn't that what they told? Isn't that the advice they gave her? Dylan told her that you have to actually. The trick is to be sorry for something,
Hmm.
even if it's not the thing you did. It's something. Just like he said, he imagined his Audi did something outside, and he apologized for that thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a lot. This is definitely getting into biblical Catholicism type, and I don't say Catholicism because I know that's legitimately like where the priest and where you go for confession. Interesting.
But yeah, let's go to Petey's funeral now because, um,
Oh,
yeah.
wait. Before Petey's funeral, talk about Haley's Audi right quick because we mentioned her, but we didn't say
Ah,
what
yeah, yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Before we move on, so in a in a scene that I had to brace myself for, Haley grabbed the paper cutter. She was ready to chop off all of her digits, but she requested to have basically a video sent to her Audi saying like, "Hey, this is what I want. Like, I want this. I want to resign. You know, please grant this and allow me to resign." And it was a pretty cool scene where she hops on the elevator and the moment it closes, it reopens. And then like she has the response in her hand. She sits down to watch the response. And what her Audi said was pretty damn shocking because it's one thing to be controlled, but what if the person controlling you was you? Because Helly's Audi says, like, yeah, you're not a real person. I am in control. I control what happens, which is pretty terrifying. Like, if you sit and think about it.
It's insane, right? Okay, the reason I say it's insane is because two things. One, I appreciate the trigger warnings that you get now
Hmm.
for television. So, being that we got it in the beginning, I fully expected that this was about to happen. I was like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, this is the trigger warning. She's about to cut her fingers off.
Hmm.
Thankfully, she did not. I don't know how I would have been able to handle that. Okay. Now, with that said, nobody knows me better than me. And I believe that about everybody in the world. Like sometimes you surprise yourself, but do you really? Do you really? So, with that said, even though her any is not a real person, her her actions will have a direct consequence for her outie and vice versa. So if me D, if I see a video of myself threatening to cut something off, I know I've reached desperate measures. The last thing I'm going to do is antagonize myself because I know me. I am a, oh, you from Missouri type chick. So I will show you that I'm not playing. So my thought was, okay, Haley's going to do something. She's going to do something because now we at the point where, okay, you don't care about me. You just said I'm not a real person. Okay, well, obviously, whatever I do in here doesn't matter. So, yeah. Now, the problem with that is that she threatened her too when she said, if you do cut anything off, I'll keep you alive long enough for you to regret it. What does that mean? And I'm asking because I feel like, whereas it looks like a warning, it felt more like a green light to me. It felt like, look, I'm not going to let you out, or I can't let you out. You're not getting out, so you're going to have to get out however you want to. Because she knows herself.
Yeah, I was going
And
to say
there's
it
no
goes the other way,
way.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no way she didn't know that that would set her off. Because you know who you are. And
Mhm.
she knows that she's not just going to submit and be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm stuck here forever. There's nothing about Haley that makes me think she's a person that will settle for just being stuck in this place. And now that she knows that her outie doesn't care anything about her and just told her she's not a real person, she's like, well, what am I doing this for anyway? What's the
All right.
point? What's your theory? Because I think we share a theory about Haley.
It's for Haley, it really seems like, and I know we're tossing out like the analogies of like this being like a purgatory or something, but for Haley, it almost feels like a prison of sorts. Like it really feels like she's imprisoned. Because think about this too. Like we don't know, like as a Lumen employee, we don't know what type of contract you sign or whatever. So it's very possible that the Audi sits down with Milicic and Milicic gives you something that you have to read, or else we can cut this switch off. So I don't know, but in Haley's case, it really feels like because she's rejecting it more than anyone else. Like they all said like, "Hey, we've been through this. Like we got over it." She isn't getting over it. Like even when she finds the scary numbers and she's like, "Cool, let me break out of here now." She's not with it at all. So there's something on the outside, that isn't quite meshing. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it almost feels like she's imprisoned.
And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Say you commit a crime, Ronnie, you commit a crime, and you can either go to prison for the rest of your life, or you can do this thing where a part of you goes to prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah, the Lumen work release program.
Right. So you don't know what happens to you 8 hours of the day, but you're free the rest of it. That's all you know. I'm able to do whatever, and they're saying that this person is doing whatever they want to do. There has to
Also,
be something. Go ahead.
I was about to say, let me quickly interject here because as far as I know, I don't think the original script had like a setting or a location. Ben Stiller chose upstate New York. I promise this. I'm going to bring this all around. He chose upstate New York, which also is the setting and location of Escape at Denimora, which he also directed. Escape at Denimora is basically the penitentiary there is like the economy of the town. Like most people who live there, they work for the penitentiary. With Lumen Industries, the people who work for Lumen live on campus. Is that I mean, is that a conscious choice or does he just like upstate New York? I don't know, but I'm just saying it's pretty interesting.
So are they all in prison? Because if hold on.
Like what?
Because if Mark
Because now I'm
had an
thinking,
accident
what if Mark was a drunk
and
driver?
killed his wife, then he could very much be in prison. He could. He could, because he hasn't told us what happened, and we're assuming he killed his wife because it's a tree, and I mean, if he hit a tree, then she
Mhm.
died. That makes sense, right? So even Petey, he could have done something, and you know how I feel about Irvin. I'm sure Irvin's a serial killer. Like that is not it's not a secret here.
Even
Deandra
worse,
believes Irvin is a serial killer.
even worse. Like, and I'm hesitant to go here, but Irving, what if we are to stick with the prison theory? What if Irvin's crimes are sex crimes?
What now?
What
Irvin's
if
crime? What?
Irving's crimes are sex crimes, which is why he can't bring his sexuality into Lumen?
Oh my gosh, which is very dark. And you know why also we're thinking about this? Because there was a whole season of Mr. Robot
Yeah.
when he was in prison. It makes sense
And thank you
also.
for
It's not
ruining that
just Mr.
for
Robot.
people, but yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Because we still
I'm
want you to
so
watch we still want you to
I'm so
watch Mr.
sorry.
Robot, but yeah. But no, it's
I
cool.
was just kidding.
I mean, that ship has sailed by now, so yeah.
I was joking. But it makes sense because
Yeah.
there would not it would not surprise me if any of the four of them have committed a crime. I'm glad to get into Dylan because even Dylan's any is very aggressive. Like he got
Yeah.
beef, right? With Christopher what's Christopher Walken's name? What's his character? Oh, Bert.
Yeah.
He's even got beef with Bert. So I don't know. So yeah, that is yeah. Yeah, okay. You wanna go to Petey?
Yeah, so Petey's funeral, Mark is compelled to go there for some reason.
Obvious
Like
reasons. Yeah.
I mean, obvious reasons, but at the same time, it's kind of weird that he shows up there considering that his outside person doesn't really know Petey. But like I said, I feel like that's like the subconscious saying, like, hey, you need to go to this.
I mean, he was at
We
his
see,
house. He's his house guest.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah. So we see the wife, we see the daughter June, and let me interject here quickly. Another one of my because if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know I have several pet peeves with shows. The thing that I hate the most is when they're trying to like build this, connection between a character and like maybe like someone off screen. Like and they have like a photo on the desk and the photo is like photoshopped like very terribly, or they like try to recreate like a video of somebody in the past. This is the most effective use of that I've seen because when they put on the video of them performing Metallica's Enter Sandman, that was pretty damn touching.
It was.
That was pretty damn touching. And in addition to that, the damn I was like, damn, them lyrics hitting right now.
Not a coincidence. That song was not a coincidence at
Not at
all.
all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at
It's
all.
billions of songs they could have chosen. That one was
Hmm.
perfect. We're off to Never Neverland. Yeah, it's perfect.
Hmm.
Um, while we're there, I really want Harmony. It was necessary. What Harmony did was necessary because to me it shows just how unhinged she is. Because
Hmm.
desecrating a body is already bad, right? It's bad. Um, Milchick told her that Petey would be cremated, and she still wanted the chip. I thought she wanted Petey's chip because she didn't want anybody else to have it. It was like we have to destroy it. She wanted it for research because like you have been saying, she keeps asking about reintegration, although they've told her repeatedly it is not possible. Now, what is your theory about her and the reintegration? I know you have one.
So like I said when we were chatting, like surely there has to be like levels. Like there has to be like clearance, and like each level of clearance grants you like more information. Clearly, reintegration in theory can work. It didn't quite work with Petey, but in theory, it can work. Like if Petey was allowed to go through the entire process without interruption, could he have been reintegrated? Possibly. Who knows? But the fact that the board is so adamant about this not being a thing, yet Harmony keeps bringing it up, so much so that, like you said, she desecrated a body to retrieve the chip, and she wants to know just what's going on with this chip. Like let's do research on it. This discrepancy is like kind of interesting because obviously she's kind of at odds with like the board and doesn't really trust them as much as she should. So I wonder what's going on there. And the reasons behind that, like I can't really make a guess to that right now. But yeah, she clearly doesn't, she's not like all in on the board. Like we at least know that for sure.
And also too, it's like not only is she not all in with the board, it seems like they are keeping things from her, maybe.
Hmm.
And maybe like keeping things from her and also commanding her. It's not it's definitely not a situation where they're working together, it feels like. It's like they're just telling her
Hmm.
what to do and she's doing it. So that's why I think we were talking about where the levels come in because I'm like, she's not severed clearly,
Hmm.
or is she? Like I say clearly, but who knows? She might be with some level of consciousness. I don't know. Maybe she's a prototype. I don't know. I don't know. The point is, for her to be so curious about reintegration, it makes me think either she needs to be or someone else needs to be. Is she the warden? Nah, if anybody's the no, she could be the warden, and then Milkshake could be like the whatever the
Tell about the gun line, boss.
him him him. So I don't know. I mean, but all of it just it all makes sense when it comes to prison because break room feels like solitary. You know,
Hmm.
wellness is maybe I guess regular, like if you get to talk to the therapist, because therapists come to prisons, right? They get mental health,
Well, they get to like speak with the chaplain and stuff. So yeah, and then there's also like social workers. So yeah,
and then when they go home, maybe that's just like their conjugals. I don't know. Just saying, I'm trying to figure it out. Or their time on the yard, you know?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Do we? I think we talked about this before. Do we think Bird is severed?
See, I don't think so because there's something going on with that
I don't think
department.
so either. I
Because
don't think he is either.
because remember Irvin, because before this we thought that it was a department of two people. Irving pulls the
Other
door
people,
open and he sees like several people in that room. And he's like,
bunch of busybodies.
okay, let me close this door. So yeah, I
I
don't
don't think
think
he
that
is.
yeah.
Maybe he's a plant. Um, it could be two things. It could either be an extension of the wellness, where he's testing, or he just legit likes him.
I
He
mean,
could.
yeah.
I don't know. The other thing, who's calling Petey?
That's an excellent question. I have no idea.
No idea. You think it's Lumon trying to get him? Because I mean, why would they call his phone?
I mean, yeah,
Just saying.
it can't be.
But yeah, who's calling it? Because I was thinking maybe it was June, which I guess it could still be.
But no,
Could have been.
she would have been calling at this point. So could it be um what's the name of the
The
group?
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I think that would be my guess.
Yeah, because my theory, my guess, well, my husband's guess was that the chip wasn't gonna be there when she went to look for it, and that's the reason why he was dying, because he had the chip removed some kind
Mm.
of way. We found out that wasn't true, which is fine, but I was like that was a very good guess at the time. But we know that she got it, so I don't know. I still think she needs her shit cracked open, because she not only did she just crack it, but like she did it at the funeral.
Yeah.
If that's how badly she wanted the chip, she risked somebody catching her because they were just across the room,
Hmm.
and she took the chip out. So yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah. So I guess we can now go to Mark and his wellness, because after the funeral, well, of course, Cobell, is it Cobell or It's Cobell, Harmony.
Yeah.
She was at the funeral as
Hmm.
her, as the neighbor of him, so they know each other. And she was very curious as to why he felt compelled to go to the funeral. Because at this point, she still doesn't know P was at his house, right?
Right.
But she does know that they were close at work. And I think she might be trying to figure out if some of it is bleeding over. Like, are you having memories from work? Even if you don't realize that's what they are they somewhere in your mind? Is your subconscious merging or whatever? And with that, she says that she sends him to a wellness session where they give him clay. And out of this clay, what does he make?
A tree.
All right. Now, the only reason I'm thinking maybe it wasn't an accident is because the tree seems to be something that's sentimental to him. I wouldn't think I would want the tree if that was what happened. What?
So, all right. So this might be like one of my, I guess, my greatest finds.
Uh-oh.
Because at the funeral we find out that Petey is Peter Kilmer. I went down a long, 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 long Google rabbit hole, and
Uh-oh.
I discovered a poem by a poet by the name of Joyce Kilmer. And you want to know the title of that poem?
Mm-hmm. The tree of
Trees.
life. Oh,
Trees. Just trees.
there's trees.
Um, Let me see the last. Yeah, let me go down to the
I was gonna say
last
read it.
stanza. Okay, yeah, because it's hella short. I could read it. I
Yeah, read it.
think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that excuse me, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree.
Okay. I mean, he made the tree with the clay, so
Yeah, so like you said, for Mark, the tree is like very sentimental now. Like
hmm
he obviously revisits that tree. Like this is the first time we've seen it on the show, but like I said, like you got to remember life happened before the show. So I'm pretty sure he goes to that tree like often. So the point of the wellness was like, we're gonna give you this clay, make what you feel. And the first thing he makes is like a perfectly formed tree.
and without thought. It's like he doesn't even consider. It's not like he's like, what can I make?
Hmm.
His hands immediately go to this tree. And keep in mind, people, this is the innie.
Hmm.
So this person doesn't remember anything about his outside world. He doesn't even know what type of person he is, none of that. So for him to make this tree, it is very much starting to look like, okay, this ship isn't taking away what it thinks it is.
Hmm.
It's just repressing the memories, I guess, instead of removing them. Which I guess is that's what they would have to do. I mean, you can't just take memories from people's brain temporarily. It's got to repress them, but it's not repressing them like they thought, like they think they are. And I guess a part of that too is like how much of what's important to you or that keeps you alive has to always be there,
Yeah, because to
right?
me
Like,
it is to me it almost works like a sifter. Like think of like, the big chunks get caught, but there's still like like little
fragments.
tidbits that make its way through. So and I think no matter how much like you are severed, like there's still like a subconscious, there's still like a soul, there's still something that even if you go through this process, there's still going to be a little bit of you there. And as much as they try to go through protocol to basically, get you back on this path they want you to be on, there's still going to be that part there that they don't want. And D, I see you in thinking pose right now.
Because I'm gonna keep going back to this candle. Okay, what is the sense that's tied closest to memory?
Yeah.
It's smell, right?
Mhm.
What if that candle is scented?
I mean, it has
And
to
if
be right.
it's and if it is, and that is the candle she chose to burn during wellness, maybe that's what did it. Like that scent brought back whatever memory he needed to think of that tree, his any. Because again, he's still the same person,
Mhm.
right? And it's just like for me, I remember being in a women's bathroom one time and this woman walked by me and she smelled just like my mama. And I'm like, I haven't smelled that scent since I was 5 because it was some, perfume she used years ago, but it immediately came back and I was like, oh my God, you smell just like my mama. So that doesn't go away. It's not like it's just one
I
of
was
those
about to say
things that's
you
just in
didn't
the
tell her
air.
that, did you? Because that's a weird
Well,
restroom
we
conversation.
I did because I knew the
Oh,
lady.
okay. Oh,
She
okay.
wasn't a
Okay.
stranger.
Okay. Okay.
I went to
Excuse me,
some
man.
random lady like,
You
excuse
smell
me,
like my
ma'am.
mama.
You smell just like my mom. Nah, she laughed because she's like, I believe it. They're about the same age, and the
Oh,
lotion
okay.
she was
Okay.
using, she was like, yeah, this is. It was aromatics elixir, by the way, if any of y'all are
Oh,
familiar.
okay.
But that is what I'm saying. It's just like we've all had a smell hit us, and you can go back to whatever it was. It could be a food, it could be a cologne, a perfume, the smell of gas, like anything that takes you back to a specific memory. So I'm thinking that maybe again that candle was intentional. It wasn't like she just took it just
Mhm.
because she took it there. Oh, we've got to talk about the book some more
Oh,
because they
yeah.
found it and they're reading it.
Yeah,
Irving
like
found it. I thought he was going to turn it in. I did. Like I really thought the
me
the
too.
Mister I can quote the whole Bible was going to turn it in, but he didn't want to break the chain of command.
Mhm.
So yeah, what do you think?
So they and of course, like you wouldn't know what to what to think of it, right? Because Irving is like, well, could this be a test? So they don't know, but the wild part is imagine if nothing comes in this building, nothing leaves, you cross this book and it has your name in it. It has like it has someone like put an inscription in there for you, like it has your name in it. And not only that, it's kind of like, and true enough, Rickon is like kind of he's a bit of a joke. He's a bit of a joke, but but it's very much like almost like pseudo like anti big corporation, anti capitalist. It's all about focusing on like yourself, like detaching from these things that the world says we need. And once again, it has Mark's name in it.
And you said it like even what's the whole thing? Even the broken clock. It's right
Mhm.
twice. It very much said you've spent your life thinking you need a job. And it's a much more, more in it. But at the end it said the job needs you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we
Mhm.
go again. Because Lumen needs these people for whatever the scary numbers are and running. Why are there so many prisons? What happens when you get prison? Free labor, right?
Yeah.
So once again, these folks in prison, man. They are. Whether it is a traditional what we think behind bars prison and they just can't see it, and Lumen is gonna like fade out, and then we're gonna actually see that they're on. Where's Rikers, by the way? Because you mentioned New York. Where's Rikers?
Yeah,
Isn't it somewhere
Rikers
in New York?
is yeah, Rikers is in New York.
Yeah, on an island. But anyway, but they're in prison regardless because Lumen itself is a prison, and it's a lot of times we see that when people give up and they don't have a way to get out, most of the time when they kill themselves in prison, I'm sorry if there was a trigger, there should have been a trigger warning before this episode, my bad. But if people decide to end their lives, a lot of times, at least from what we see, they do it the same way because they have the tools necessary and they do exactly what Hella did.
But here's the thing though with Haley. Like, because to me, like once again going back to like the biblical like whatever. So to me, like that elevator is very, very much I guess symbolic of something, almost like crossing over into another realm, like because like there's like a literal process where your consciousness is basically deactivated in that
Mhm.
elevator. So like something like is like leaving your body as you're going up on this elevator. So considering that this space is what it is, there's really no way the act that she's committing can be completed in this space.
Are you sure?
I'm
Because, and
uh
I'm only asking because it's because they made a good point to show us the elevator doesn't open or close without a badge.
mhm,
So in order, the reason she was able to stand there so long with the doors open is because she threw her badge in the trash.
mm.
So she can't there's no getting like there's nothing she can do to let the elevator go. So her Audi can't save her because she doesn't become her until she goes through the elevator.
No, and yeah, no, you are absolutely right. And but I'm just saying like if because I guess I have to ask myself if the the purgatory slash hell biblical implications are like just metaphoric or like it's to be taken literal. Because
I feel like it's
to me,
literal because she even
because
said it.
if and this is only what I think. I could like we the episode could very well start and then Hildy, is no longer with us. But in this space and what it represents, the space that is the elevator, I don't think she can commit what she's because the elevator is a transitional space.
Hmm.
So I don't think now if she did it in the Lumen office or in the real world, then cool, it could happen there. But I think in this like transitional space, which is the elevator, I don't think it can happen there. Does that make sense?
You think the elevator is kind of almost like a not a real space, almost.
Yeah, kind of like the ferryman carrying you on the river Styx type thing. Yeah.
It's kind of like the purgatory of purgatory. It's like
Yeah,
you can't
it's
go to either space. It's
right.
the it's the gray area.
Right.
Okay. Well, then that would make this what's already sci-fi. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, what's great about the show is we don't know what the hell it is, honestly. We don't know what it is.
Here's the bad thing about it though. I I was very sad when it happened, right?
So was I. My heart dropped.
But there was a part of me that was happy she was free. So I'm not sure how I'm going to feel if it's unsuccessful.
I think you need to spend the rest of this week figuring that out there because I don't think it's a,
and I wouldn't like I don't I want to make it clear I'm not going to be surprised
Uh-huh.
if she did do it. And it could be, I mean, it could be something as simple as somebody just came and got her before she expired, because I don't think she broke her neck. I think she was like, gonna have to suffocate. But I I just want her to be free. And I don't want it to have to be this way, but I don't know another way. And they don't seem to be willing to help her in any way, which is also very weird to me because you would think that they would still want these people to want to be alive, right? To have a will to live. She does not have one, which again goes back to her Audi because I'm like, you have given her no incentive whatsoever to go on or to stop trying to do any of this stuff. You threatening her doesn't seem like it's gonna be something that's gonna make her be like, oh, okay, you win, okay, fine, I won't do it anymore. I just think she's gonna find some more creative ways or spend the rest of her time in the break room. I don't know. I don't know. But you
Yeah,
think she's
but
alive. Just point, that's what you're saying. You
yeah,
think she's alive. Okay.
yeah, and I think this, because to me this would be like such a drastic measure. I don't think they have a protocol for it yet. So it will be more interesting to see how they would deal with this situation because it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be really hard on her now.
But these can't be the first four. Take that back. They very well could be the first. Well,
No,
five.
they
Let's
aren't
be okay.
because they allude to another member. Yeah, Irving alludes to like another member of the team before Mark came on. Like I feel like, and I think he mentions that it was a woman. I don't think I'm making that up. So yeah, these aren't the first four. Um, it is interesting that it's four though, and it's interesting that it's like one in, one out. Like the department doesn't expand beyond that.
See? I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I don't know. I'm very sad for her. That's all I know. Like I'm not as sad for anybody as I am for Haley. And maybe that's just because they're purposefully showing us how hard of a time she's having.
Mhm.
And with that, um, what is it about Petey's Audi that was okay with it? Because his innie was doing some stuff too. His innie got a map and everything else. So what happened with him that made them both collide and say, okay, we'll just don't go back? Because whatever that is,
That's the
Haley ain't
question.
got it.
That's the question.
And maybe, like you said before, maybe this is different where they had a choice and Haley did not. Because I've still been trying to figure out why she was sprawled across the table like that. You'd think after surgery, people would just kind of like wake you up and you'd be sitting in a chair and say, hey, this is what happened. But she had clothes and all of the stuff on and she sprawled across the table in the conference room. Doesn't that seem weird?
Yeah.
Unless everybody's like that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel
someone else mentions like, yeah, when I woke up on that table, I was confused too. I feel like it was Mark.
maybe he did. Maybe he did. But it just but why? Like why are why do you have them laying across the table? It's just such a chaotic way to wake up. I don't know. I don't know. Point is at this point, Mark could be a prisoner, or even who I'm convinced is a serial killer, or in your case, a serial assault person is in prison. I don't know what Peter did. Dylan could totally be in prison. Like I don't even know, just like off the strength of his personality alone,
Yeah,
inside he could.
he's a damn computer hacker or something. I don't know, but he
You
is.
know what else is very prison like? Running the tokens. They only get 2 tokens a day for the snack machine.
Mhm.
Wow, this feels so much like prison. They're totally in prison. They're in prison, ain't they? They're in prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
In and out.
Two hots and no cot. Yeah.
In and out. They're in prison. They're totally in prison. And she lives next door to Mark. So where I'm interested to see everybody else's life. I want to see Haley's outside life more than anything else. That's what I want. I want Dylan and I want Irvin's, but I want Haley's more than anything because I just really need to meet her outside of of the work. And the only time we've seen it is when Mark almost hit her with a car. And that was just a normal reaction because she's like, baby, watch where you going. But yeah. Mm. Oh my gosh, this has only been what, 4 episodes?
Yeah. But
So we're like
yeah,
halfway
this
through.
show this show is crazy, and I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I'm looking forward to it. It is yeah, it's been a ride every week. It's something new every week. But yeah, the amount of like just thought and just creativeness that's going into the show, like it's pretty groundbreaking. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. If you're listening, let us know what you think. If you're watching, let us know what you think. But yeah, we'll be back here next week. Until next time.
Peace.